Many of Australia's finest glass artists have come from here in Canberra, creating works such as this magnificent sculpture, and they're doing it these days in this converted powerhouse, the Glassworks. Glass creations of exquisite beauty have been crafted by Canberra's growing team of talented artists. These days, they're creating these masterpieces at Australia's only cultural centre wholly dedicated to contemporary glass art. The quality and skill of Canberra's glass artists is recognised around the world, as the facility's curator Matt Frawley explains.
Canberra has often been regarded internationally as a centre of excellence for glass, and particularly contemporary art in the cold working areas, on the hot shop floor, casting and fusing. So the fact that a lot of artists live in the area, and also a lot of artists come and visit here, they come and teach at the ANU, so it is very much a centre for artists working in contemporary glass to come and play and have fun. Basically what we're seeing here is Jackson and Jennifer working with molten glass on the hot shop floor. It's usually called blowing glass, but it also involves a lot of manipulating the glass with the instruments that you see in front of us. We've got a main thing is the kiln, which has the furnace which has the hot molten glass in it, and it's about 300 kilos of molten glass in a pool. And that furnace is fired around 1,150 degrees, and it's on 24/7. We never turn it off. It'll take a month to cool down and a month to warm up again. So it's always firing. And then they also use the reheating chambers, which are just like big gas ovens, to keep the glass at constant temperature. So on a hot summer's day, it can get very, very warm. Basically, they're going to be working with a gather of glass, which is where they put the glass on the end of their pipe, and they'll blow that into a bubble. Then they'll transfer that over to another pipe, leaving a little opening at the top, which they'll then be able to open up to make a beautiful plate. After the glass has been finished, they need to cool it down very, very slowly in a process we call annealing. If they left this out to cool down to room temperature, it would basically shatter. So what we do is place it into a kiln, and it's cooled down usually in 24 hours, or thicker glass 48 hours, and it cools down very, very slowly, which allows all of the glass to melt together and become one big solid piece. Because we've got some of the larger equipment in the region, a lot of people come down from Sydney and Melbourne, and even as far afield as northern Queensland, come down to use our facilities here to create larger pieces or big production lines of pieces that they then ship around the world.
It's the city's newest attraction, the Canberra Glassworks. There'd be a lot of people who would argue there's a lot of hot air emanating from here in Canberra. Certainly we're using hot air today to inflate these giant hot air balloons to fly at about 300 metres over Canberra. Conditions are perfect this morning to inflate our balloon's envelope. Our liftoff is timed to coincide with sunrise, and the winds are just right to push us out over Lake Burley-Griffin towards Federal Parliament House. Our pilot today is Richard Gillespie. Nice day for a flight, Richard.
Perfect. What a lovely morning. It's excellent visibility, gentle winds, exactly what we want for ballooning. It's a lovely time of year to fly. Canberra's such a pretty place to fly. It's so scenic, and get some great views from up here on a day like this. What we do is use the different layers of wind at different heights. Up here at the moment we're at 2,800 feet, that's above sea level, and we're tracking south-southwest. Lower down we're actually tracking northwest, so we use those different layers of air to try and find some steering.
Because we're travelling with the wind, it's ever so quiet up here. That is, until the burners are turned on briefly to keep the air inside the envelope hot enough to keep us aloft. Down below, we watch as Canberra slowly comes to life. There's a team of rowers preparing to work out. And Lake Burley-Griffin, it looks so serene at this time of day. What about those early morning office workers, close enough to see them wave to us? There are two other balloons sharing the sky this morning. We watch as one of them, funded by Greenpeace to publicise climate change, makes a low pass over the old Parliament House building. The highlight for me today is flying over Australia's new Parliament House. So impressive with its surrounding gardens and ultra-modern features. For the next hour, we're pushed slowly northwards across the city, flying over a series of prominent landmarks. It's been a tremendous flight. the climax to our Canberra encounter. In our next series of TravelOz, we undertake a marathon road trip from one end of the country to the other, exploring the great Aussie outback. We make a series of expeditions across southern Queensland, including a swim with the friendly dolphins off Queensland's Moreton Island. And we'll experience more of Australia's unique traditions, including a contest between the country's top boomerang throwers. I do hope you've enjoyed this episode of TravelOz. I'm Greg Granger. Happy travels.